All right, guys, so let's get into this. Of course, we've got our favorite attorney. Tony Busby is back. Y'all thought he was done? Nope. He is not done. Tony Busby is back. And just because Diddy is about to find out maybe a decision that can impact his life forever, he's not letting off. Tony Busby is doubling down and is seemingly going after, yes, you heard it right, Justin Combs, Diddy's son, in another lawsuit filing. So let's go ahead and get into it. See what Tony Busby is alleging here. Again, as much as I completely and totally disgust Tony Busby and his use of the law, we do have to take each one of these claims on their own. So because of what he did with Jay-Z, that doesn't mean that there's not going to be any legitimacy to this claim. Now, we believe innocent until proven guilty, but we're going to go ahead and see what the claim is here by Tyreek Connerly, represented by Tony Busby and the Busby Law Firm, against Justin Combs, Sean Combs, Diddy's House Recording Incorporated, and so on. Bad Boy Enterprises. Y'all know the deal, who they are. Here's the complaint. The plaintiff, we're going to call him Ty, brings this action against defendants Justin Combs and all them other folks. All right. Here's the introduction. What happened? The plaintiff is an accomplished, degreed professional. In 2017, Justin Combs is going to be referred to as Justin moving forward, used his father, Diddy's status as an A-list celebrity and mogul in the entertainment industry to lure plaintiff, a young female from Louisiana, to Los Angeles, where she was literally held prisoner for a weekend and repeatedly assaulted. Yikes. Diddy and two other, as of yet unknown, masked men participated in the assault. This case seeks compensatory and punitive damages for the assault. The conduct described herein is strikingly similar to how the defendant Sean Combs, here we go, using the federal, oh my gosh. Similar to how defendant Sean Combs and his entourage conducted themselves for many years, and it appears that Combs' penchant for certain types of violence is shared by his son. Many individuals and entities facilitated and conspired with Combs to accomplish his abhorrent purpose, talking about Justin. Sean Combs and those he surrounded himself with believed they were above the law. They are most certainly not. For decades, Diddy, described herein as Diddy, abused, molested, I almost said that word on YouTube. You can't be saying that stuff. They don't like it. Abused, touched, assaulted, threatened, and coerced men, women, minors.
Stop the cap.
And others for his own gratification, to assert dominance and to conceal abhorrent conduct. Again, I'm trying to take this at face value, but saying minors were involved, I don't like using this lightly. If you want to say men, women, and adults, fine. But just throwing minors in there with no proof that Diddy was involved with minors is just disgusting in my, come on, guys. He accomplished these acts by and through a criminal enterprise built on his success as a rapper, recorder, and producer. And record executive. Combs is one of the wealthiest musical artists in the world, behind the facade of being a 3-time Grammy Award winner, discovering and developing multiple famous musical arts, and ranking on Forbes' list of the highest paid entertainers in the world. They existed something sinister, a dark underbelly of a crime, trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, bribery, and prostitution. Are you going to show that here, Tony, or are we just talking? Combs is a menace to society, women, and children. While his wealth has kept him above consequences for many years, Combs now faces the awesome power of the American judicial system and ultimately a jury of his peers who will be asked to punish him for the deplorable conduct described herein. Combs' business. Combs' business enterprise is essential to the pervasive acts of assault and abuse committed by him during the last decades. Combs operated his business headquartered at various times in Manhattan and Los Angeles under a variety of US-based corporate entities, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy, and all them other folks, right? Corporate entities in the Combs business portfolio included record labels, a recording studio, an apparel line, an alcoholic spirits promoting business. Shout out to Ciroc, a marketing agency, talent discovery, a television network, and media company. On the surface, each of the businesses served a legitimate purpose related to entertainment, music, and other subjects. But in reality, Combs, by and through himself and his agents, employees, and contractors, used the business to assault, abuse, threaten, and coerce hundreds of individuals through sexual quid pro quo schemes, as well as to take advantage of individuals with impunity, thinking the victims would never seek recourse. Combs and his agents, employees, and contractors through these Combs businesses would tell victims, "This is what it takes to be famous. What are you willing to do to become a star?" And perform this act or else. Dang. To coerce the victims into performing a non-consensual act, adult act, for the gratification of Combs and his cohort. Members and associates of the Combs business engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other activities, trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for the purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Lord, the Combs business constituted an ongoing organization whose members function as a continuing unit for a common purpose of achieving the objectives of Combs. Obviously, we've heard this before, and we've heard it throughout the entire Diddy trial and literally every single civil lawsuit that's been filed against Diddy. It's like they all took this same template and shared it amongst themselves. Tony Busby actually has been a part of several of these as well. Combs' pervasive history of assault and violence. We don't need to read through this. Thank you for the reminder, Tony, but we know ClassE, so on, so forth. All right, we'll keep moving through the complaint. So what did they say? In the past year, numerous civil complaints have been filed by plaintiffs who allege that they have been assaulted by Combs between 1991 and 2009. In November 2023, 3 lawsuits were filed against Combs under New York's Adult Survivors Act. ClassE, an artist signed to Bad Boy Records, sued Combs in New York for assault and physical abuse. She alleged Combs facilitated these acts by and through supplying ClassE with copious amounts of drugs and urging her to take them beginning in 2006, putting aside the fact that she wanted to take it. We've got Little Rod mentioned here. Y'all remember him, represented by Tyrone Blackburn? Boy, these guys just run in circles together. Let's keep going through this, all right? So we got Combs' long history of violence unequivocally establishes that his actions are motivated by gender, both men and women. What? Combs has a profound contempt for women and a desire to dominate both minors and other men. Where are we getting this from? His conduct shows a long-standing practice of denigrating, defeating, and attempting to humiliate men, women, and children. His practices and desires are different for men, women, and children, but his actions are unequivocally motivated by the victim's particular gender and age. Plaintiff's allegations herein substantially mirror Combs' prior conduct as established through criminal indictments and other lawsuits. Through this case, the plaintiff seeks a full measure of justice from the man who, through his power, money, and influence, rendered him untouchable. The plaintiff joins many other victims by filing this complaint in hopes their common voice makes it impossible for Combs to assault another person ever again. How is a civil lawsuit going to do that? What? So are there criminal charges being filed? How is this civil lawsuit going to protect other people from being assaulted again? I must be missing something here. Either way, let's continue through this. And I want to focus and find where Justin comes in. In March or April 2017, Justin contacted the plaintiff through Snapchat. Okay. The two messaged back and forth, and the plaintiff eventually sent Justin risque photos at Justin's request. That same day, Justin offered to fly the plaintiff out to Los Angeles for the weekend. We getting flued out, guys. We talked about this. Get used to me saying it. At the time, the plaintiff lived in New Orleans, Louisiana. The plaintiff was interested in a career in the entertainment industry. This is how we get the coercion slipped in there. A subject she and Justin had discussed in their messages. Justin told the plaintiff that a trip to LA would be helpful for her in terms of her potential career. Justin. In fact, Justin told the plaintiff that if she came to LA, he would get her a position with remote TV in Atlanta through his and his father's connections. Oh boy. On or around Friday, April 14, 2017, the plaintiff got flued out to LA. A driver in a black SUV picked her up that night and took her to a house Justin called the Glass House. On information and belief, the Glass House is an ultra high-end property available for rent on Loma Linda Drive in Beverly Hills. That night, the plaintiff and Justin mostly talked, shared a relaxed evening alone in the palatial house. They stayed at the house all evening, which surprised the plaintiff as she expected to go out on the town. She wanted to get flued out. Oh boy. On Saturday, they stayed in the house all day as well, surprising and frustrating the plaintiff. When asked if they were going to leave, Justin abruptly said, "Nope, sorry." That day and into the evening, Justin offered the plaintiff liquor and then marijuana, which the plaintiff believed was laced due to the effect it had on her. Justin then offered and made the plaintiff take various pills or poppers throughout the day. After Justin and the plaintiff had consumed multiple drugs, 3 other men arrived at the house. All 3 wore masquerade masks. 2 were unrecognizable to the plaintiff, but she recognized the third defendant as Diddy, due in parts to his stature, mannerisms, but also because Justin referred to him on at least one occasion as Pops. Plaintiff was taken upstairs to the bedroom, and there she was told, "You better let this happen or else." In that bedroom, each of the 3 men took turns assaulting the plaintiff both in the back door, in her mouth, and she was drugged and incapacitated. Oh my. The brutal gang assault of the plaintiff continued from Saturday evening through at least midday on Sunday, with the 3 men continuing to take their turns abusing the plaintiff. On Monday, the plaintiff was driven back to the airport and dropped off. Throughout the weekend and afterwards, Justin held over the plaintiff's head the possibility of a job with remote TV, which never materialized, as well as the photos she sent to him on Snapchat, which he had saved and could release at his pleasure. As a result of abuse, plaintiff has suffered severe emotional distress, emotional anguish, fear, anxiety, humiliation, embarrassment, physical injury, and emotional injury and trauma. Wow. So I think it's important, the timeline here that was left out, because this is something that stands out to me. Throughout the weekend and afterward, Tony, I need a timeline, sir. You're very specific to say that she was assaulted from Saturday evening through Sunday, and then Monday, they flew her back to where she came from. But then throughout the weekend and afterward, how long afterward? How long were they talking? Did they interact before then? We'll have to wait and hear that in the response. Claim for relief, of course, assault and battery of this sexual manner. Y'all know that. No surprise there. Excuse me. We've got gender violence. Okay, that's a new one. We've got negligent supervision and retention. He held her hostage and wouldn't let her leave. We've got the demand for a jury trial. The plaintiff herein demands a jury trial and tenders all appropriate fees with this complaint. Prayer for relief. Wherefore the plaintiff Ty prays for the following relief against the defendant: for past, present, and future general damages in the amount to be determined at trial. Obviously, cost of the suit, interest, punitive and exemplary damages, attorney's fees, and other and further relief as the court may deem just and proper in these circumstances. David Fortney, y'all know him and Tony, they like this. Shout out to David. Oh, of the Busby Law Firm. Okay, well, sorry, can't let you have it. Oh boy. We've got yet another lawsuit against Diddy. This man cannot catch a break, and it seems like Justin was a big part of this. Let me know what y'all think in the comments and in the chat. Is this just a move by the Busby law firm to try and get something out of Diddy through his kid? It's seeming like they probably wouldn't put Justin into this if he didn't actually have some type of conversation or interaction with Ty. So I want to know what y'all think. Let me know how you feel about this lawsuit in the comments in the chat.